What up, guys? Welcome back to the channel. It's your guy. Something. Hit the keys. Here today to do a quick review and demonstration over Groove Shaper by Pitch Innovations. Make sure if you guys do like this content, though, you drop a whole elbow on that like button, hit subscribe and that notification bell so every time we bring you guys a new video, you can be the first to see. So with no further delay, let's get right into this review, baby. Some, hit the key. All right, guys, so when you open up Groove Shaper, it's going to look like this. This plugin basically shapes grooves in different ways. So as you look down here, it's got basically different time divisions in which you can shape the grooves in. So whether it's going to break it up in 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So what I mean by that is as we look here at this pattern right here, all it is some basic chords. So there's no pattern or nothing like this. And Groove Shaper will basically shape this groove for you. So this is what it sounds like with Groove Shaper on there. So you can hear it's not just straight chords. It's got some rhythm to it, and that's what this plugin is good for. So basically, as you look here, it's got a bunch of different controls for you. So with this plugin basically hosts other VSTs. So the first time that you load this up, it's going to scan for all your plugins, and then you can come here and then boom, you're gonna load your actual plugin, your third-party VST into this plugin to make it work. Next to that, you have different time divisions right here that you can control, how long you want it to go, how many bars. It's got a bunch of different presets from bass to epic drums to fills, hi-hats, percussions, short strings, synths, so on and so forth. And then it's got two different modes. It's got trigger and time. So with like the trigger, it's going to trigger every time a note hits. But with time, it's going to go in sequence, if that makes sense. So every step in sequence, it's going to make it go. Right here, you have an arpeggiation mode. You have your settings up here. Right here is going to be your sequencers. So this is where you're going to place all your grooves. So you can easily drag it up right there and place it there. We're not going to have that one there for now. Over here, you can control the velocity in the sequencer, the gate, the swing, the dynamics. Over here, you can shape each one of your grooves. So that's pretty cool as well. As we look down here at the bottom, you have different views. So it makes it easier to look at. So you can hit this one. And as you can see, it'll tell you how many times the groove is going to hit each time it hits this step in the sequencer. Or you can look at it like this, and it'll basically tell you in musical notes how many times it's going to hit. You have your BPM down here so that you can speed it up or slow it down. Then you have your sequencer mono right here. So with this, you can basically blend in the original signal with the step sequencer. So the step sequencer won't take all the way over. It'll play both the original signal and the step sequencer. And then right here, you have your key limit. Then they also have this fire dice control right here. So you can randomize the sequencer basically. So I made a little sample beat as always. On this beat, I basically used the step sequencer for everything. I didn't play any melodies. I just took some chords, and then I took some basic, just following the root notes for strings and basses, and you know what I'm saying, basically made the beat that way. I did the same thing with the perk and a hi-hat. So all the switching up and everything that you're gonna hear in this beat, it all comes from Groove Shaper. It's kind of like a house beat, may not be, I don't know. I don't really make a lot of house beats, but it's not all the way mixed down, of course, but let's go. All right, guys, so that's a little sample beat that I cooked up for you guys today. Let's go ahead and hop back into Groove Shaper and check this thing out a little more in depth. So I've opened up a brand new project so I can basically show you guys from scratch how to use this thing. So in order to get to the plugins, like I said earlier, all you're gonna do is hit that internal button right there. Now there is an internal sampler, so you can drop your own samples in this thing too, so that's pretty solid. But what we're gonna do is we're gonna come down to Arturia, we're just gonna pick the DX7, and then you'll hit initialize preset, and then from there it will bring the plugin up. Let's just go ahead and grab some kind of lead. We'll just grab this 80s voice. So now with this, if you push down some notes on this thing, it's gonna sound like this initially, because it already has some grooves set up. So if I get rid of all the grooves real quick, you're gonna hear just the regular synth. All right, so what we're gonna do real quick is I'm just gonna paint some notes in so we have some chords. All right, guys, so I just painted in a quick little chord progression. It just sounds like this. All right, so what's cool about this again is that we can go either time or we can go trigger. So we can just start adding stuff up in here. So let's go ahead and add that there. If we add that in there, every time it hits this step on the sequencer, it's gonna make that this sequence hit. So we'll just go ahead and add a few up in here, just so you guys can kind of get a quick feel. So now with time, every time it hits this step in the sequencer, it's gonna make the note go off. Now, the difference between time and trigger is that every time a note goes, it's going to trigger. So it's going to sound a little bit different this time. So a pretty basic sounding sequence, but again, you can mess with this and get it to sound different. So we'll go ahead and put the 8 in there. And then you can mess with the note velocity too as well. So you can make this go up and down. You can also do that with the note length. So you can see how it made that one sound a little bit different. We'll go ahead and throw something else back up in here though. Let's go ahead and throw this back up in here. Again, you can mess with different things in this. So you can mess with the swing, you can mess with the velocity and all that other stuff. Let's go ahead and throw the swing up here a little bit. So it'll make it sound a little bit different. So you can hear the difference there in the swing, which is pretty cool as well. With this, you could do a whole bunch. Again, like I said, you got different presets over here. So let's go ahead and listen to some of these synth presets. Let's go ahead and hit this Morse code. What's also nice about this too is, like, let's say I have a pattern set up of 4 bars, but I go only off of trigger. It doesn't reset after 4 bars, so it'll go through the whole entire sequence. So like, let's say this is 1 bar right here with time, but if I have it set up on chords and each time one of these hits, it's gonna trigger. So this would be a bar, this would be a bar, this would be a bar, this would be a bar. So even if you take something out and you leave a space there, when it comes back to playing that in the beat, it'll just pick up where it left off. So it gives you a different groove. So it's not gonna be the same thing over and over again, if that makes sense, if you have a bunch of different patterns up in here. So again, I like the trigger more than I like the time. Because see, if you have spaces and you don't have notes going, it's gonna leave a little bit of air in there. But if you have it on trigger, it's always gonna be going. All right, guys, so I ended up just coming back to the original beat because I figured it would just be easier just to kind of run through that. So this was kind of, again, I showed you guys what I did with Groove Builders on this first melody right here. So then once we turn the bass on and everything, the bass sounds like this. But we can just change up the way the whole beat sounds by just basically changing the groove. So, you know, we can throw this groove on here right here. So you hear all that sounds, or we can change it to trigger, and it sounds like this. So that's pretty fire. So I also use it on this perk right here. This perk sounds like this. Now, what's cool about that is I only use that perk right here. So I only put the perk down right here as just one note in the sequence. But since I have all this stuff going on and I have it here in time, it just, you know what I'm saying, basically switched it all up for me. So that's pretty cool. There's a bunch of different presets in here for your perks too as well. So you can switch to all kinds of different stuff. So I'm going to show you another thing that you can use it on, which is pretty cool. You can use it for hi-hats. So I'm going to come over here, and if I click this button right here, it'll bring up the samples. So it already has a sample in there, but we're going to go ahead and just add a sample that we want in there. And then we can come down here and then just put the hi-hat right there real quick. And then once we push play, so you can use that for trap hi-hats, which is pretty solid. You can come over here to your presets. They've got a bunch of different hi-hats that you can use, different patterns. So that's pretty solid there as well. And then you can get creative with this too. So you can start using some of your percussion stuff on this, on your hi-hats. So two more things that I want to show you guys real quick. Again, you have this random button over here. So you can come over here and hit random and it'll randomize this for you. So it'll basically give you a different groove. So you can use that to get different hi-hat grooves. Another thing that you can do too is you can come in here and you can take out individual steps. So I was talking about that earlier, but I didn't show you. So you can take those out and it'll make the sequence sound different. You know, so you can basically load this up how you want to. And then listen. And so then boom, I can take out some of those and you know, you can just do that with melodies, percussion, whatever it is that you want to do. But this plugin is currently $29 on the intro sale. So I would definitely recommend checking it out. In my opinion, I think it's pretty fire. It's good for like house and stuff like that. It's really good for trap hi-hats and stuff like that as well. Just to be honest, I don't know how much you're going to use it for like melodies and stuff like that, maybe in trap beats, but if you know you make more than one genre, or you do make house or anything like that, or any kind of dance music or anything similar to that, EDM even, I would definitely recommend this. Techno, all those genres, drum and bass, I mean, all that stuff. This would definitely be a very, very solid plugin for. Make sure if you guys do like this content though, you drop a whole elbow on that like button. hit subscribe and that notification bell so every time we bring you guys a new video, you can be the first to see. Appreciate you guys' time as always, and I'll catch you in the next one. Peace.
Some, hit the key.